For That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Jamie is a leading Tampa Bay real estate agent and featured on the Wall Street Journal's list of top 100 real estate agents in the nation. Jamie invites you to list your home with him today and learn more at tampabayradio.com. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Maloney.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome yet again to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Good show planned for you today. The second half of this hour, we'll be talking to Ed Ellsasser, president of Prime Group Insurance, and I'm joined in studio by my co-host for the hour, Dr. Ron Eccles with Make Your Mark. So, Dr. Ron Eccles, welcome back to the program.
Good morning, Jamie. Thanks so much for having me back.
And Dr. Ron, also a radio show host down in Sarasota, and also a great member of the Tampa Bay Business Owners, and also fills in for me from time to time. You may have heard him on the radio before, so we welcome him back to the program. So, Dr. Ron, thank you so much for all you're doing for us.
Awesome. Appreciate being here.
So we're going to be talking about public speaking here in this first half of the hour. We got Joe Yazbeck, founder of Prestige Leadership Advisors, and also author of the #1 bestseller, No Fear Speaking. Learn more about him throughout the discussion at nofearspeaking.com. Joe, welcome to the program today.
Well, thank you, Jamie. Good to be here.
So first off, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am the owner of Prestige Leadership Advisors, a PR firm which specializes in leadership communications.
Okay.
And so we basically offer public speaking, media coaching, public relations support, and leadership training. And so it's a very, very key element, and particularly in today's world.
And you talk about how businesses can increase income and client base through public speaking and effective presentation skills. Is that just one of those underutilized things within business that they need to be taken more advantage of?
Yes.
Okay, so how do they do that, and do you just teach them? And can anybody be a public speaker and a presenter? Because so many people have a fear of that. It's our number one fear.
It is. It is. I think it's second to
death. Yes.
Second to death of a loved one.
Yes.
That's how formidable it is.
Yes.
It's a very, very difficult thing for people to, particularly those in business that have reputations to preserve. Their first thought is, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be humiliated.
Mm-hmm.
I will do my best in order to get my job done and communicate well without appearing to be that vulnerable and open. And this talent can be developed. It's a talent. It can be developed. It can be learned. It can be skill builded upon.
And Dr. Ron Eccles is also a accomplished speaker. And Ron, was this something that just came naturally to you being a speaker, or did you use speaking to increase the revenue inside your businesses as well?
It was a big question I'm asked all the time. People say to me, how did you get really good at speaking? I said, well, from the first time I started speaking, I haven't shut up.
Right.
And my mom will attest to that. And I think one of the things is, I remember my first public speaking class in high school, and I got up in front of the students, and I was petrified, absolutely petrified. My legs were shaking. My entire body was shaking. And I never would have guessed that I would spend the later part of my life loving to be in front of people speaking. So, Joe, you do something that's incredibly great, because speaking in public, I believe, and I'm going to say this right here, if you're a business person, it is the #1 tool that can leverage and build your business more than anything else. I believe it'll add $100,000 plus a year to your bottom line if they come to you and they get trained right.
Wow.
Well, we need to clone you, Dr. Ron. Okay?
If I could drop the mic, I just dropped that mic.
The point is what you're doing is you're leveraging a very natural skill, your ability to communicate. And what else is there? If you look at a business, how much influence is there in a business where communication takes place? Hiring, team building, negotiation skills, running a meeting, promotion and marketing, sales. They're all the ability to speak.
Now, when you begin speaking, though, one of the big challenges is building an audience, having an audience. And so how is that part of the program? You coach people on how to get an audience, too, because it's one thing to say, okay, I'm speaking on this date at this event, and then one person shows up.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Very interesting. You have to speak to be able to speak more.
Right.
You see,
that's just part of the pain and growing process, I guess.
It is. You say, how do I put the butts in their seats?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, it's a marketing activity.
Right.
And so one of the best ways is to do your webinars, and those webinars can be taught. Some webinars are the most boring activity in the world. People shut them off. But they can be a person can be trained to do a webinar and to be able to increase interest and involvement in the next step. and to be able to promote and market that next step through a webinar.
Right. A webinar is a great tool. Yeah, you're right. Because then necessarily if people don't attend, it's not really too embarrassing versus trying to book a big room and only a couple of people showing up.
Right.
So, and you also talk about how to use the media to increase revenue. Talk to us about this.
Right now is a good example. Mm-hmm. And radio and television is a communication tool that is a public relations tool. Now, PR and marketing are two different subjects. PR's job is to raise reputation. PR's job is to raise recognition and visibility so that marketing can become more responsive. And if you don't have PR, much like a press kit, I want to see that press kit first before we go throwing dollars at it. It's much like the same as going to a website and realizing that person's website is either going to be a desirable, highly acceptable website, or it's going to be terrible, and then you shut the person off from any further communication.
Do you recommend that the average business owner have a press kit ready to go? I've
Absolutely.
heard different discussions on this. And tell people who are not even familiar with what a press kit is what it entails, because a lot of businesses, what's
I
a
was
press
in the
kit?
music business for many years, and the entertainment industry recognizes a press kit. They call it an EPK in music, an electronic press kit. And there are now sites that you go to take a look at an artist's or a speaker's videos, the sizzle reel, if you will, photos, testimonials, a montage of a workshop, a 2-hour workshop in 3 minutes, and what it's like to be sitting in that person. It's everything you need to know to raise that reputation in less than 3 or 4 minutes.
Now,
that would be a press kit.
Now, Dr. Ron, I want to go back to the building the audience part of public speaking, because that's a challenge for anybody. They just think, well, they may be a good speaker, they may not even have the fear of public speaking, but getting an audience, and Joe threw out the idea of the webinar as a place to begin. How do you advise people on building an audience, getting seats in the chairs for your events?
Got a great secret. It's really simple. Get in front of somebody else's audience.
Okay,
that's right.
That's how you really cut your teeth, because one of the most challenging parts of developing a speaking business is to have your own events, because then you really have to put your skin in the game big time, because you got to promote it. And I'm going to ask you a question, Joe, real quick.
Sure.
I always learned that PR, public relations, was the stuff you do to get known that doesn't cost you very much, and marketing is stuff you do to get known that costs you a lot.
Well, if you do PR, your marketing is much cheaper, and your sales is a much better no-brainer.
That's a great tip right there.
It really is, because PR is what makes you acceptable, desirable, and it increases attraction. You've heard this attraction factor. And so, for example, if I invited someone to my training center and I brought them in on my communication over the phone, and they walked into my building and the building was dirty, and they walked into my office and it was chaotic, well, I just lost marketing dollars right there, because my PR, the look of my office, the appearance, the communication skill, the professionalism standard of my staff, if that was missing, I just lost marketing dollars.
So for people that have a fear of public speaking and they come to you for assistance, step one, what are they doing wrong when they get in front of the audience? Are they just not breathing properly? Are they just setting themselves up with that expectation, oh God, I'm going to fail? What are they doing wrong?
I talk about this in my book, No Fear Speaking, and it has to do with a performing artist's key. This is the key to any performing artist. And my book is entertainment industry based.
Okay.
So if you want stage presence, much as a singer will stand on that stage and own the room, you've heard that phrase before, it has to do with space. How much space are you creating? It's not the geographical, physical confines of that room. It is the space you are creating. In other words, how big are you? How present, you hear the word stage presence. How present are you?
Sing to the back of the room?
Yep. Actually, it's the gentleman waiting for his wife in the parking lot behind that last row.
Now, did speaking come naturally to you, or was this something that you had to develop for yourself through training courses and just cutting your teeth on public events and speaking to people?
It's very interesting listening to Dr. Ron about his inspiration. What happened to him? It was a difficult one that he had to push through, and he pushed through quite well. I was 5 or 6 years old, and we had a funeral at my home. I didn't understand why people were so sad, dressed in black. And my mother says, Joey, get up on the kitchen table and sing that song. It happened to be the Diamonds, Little Darlin'. Mm-hmm. If you know that song, you know the knees going like an Elvis Presley knee jerk,
Right.
And I stood up on that kitchen table and I started singing Little Darlin'. And everybody started smiling and clapping, and I looked and I went, oh my God, I like this.
Now, hang on, Joe, for a second. Just so we can qualify everything, Joe has a son that is a professional on Broadway.
Right.
So there's natural musical talent right there. Had I stood on the table and sang, it would have been the end of my career publicly.
And to be honest with you, I still have a fear of public speaking. I'm good behind a microphone, but if I can see my audience, I tense up, and I can get through them. But the first few minutes, I'm tight, I'm taking deep breaths. It takes me a little bit of time to get over that. And interestingly enough, I've had many speakers through here that tell me the opposite. They'll be like, hey, I'm a little nervous behind the mic. And I was like, why? You're a speaker. You can't see your audience. Why is that?
It is right now, for example. Jamie, I'm looking at you, and you're looking at me.
Right.
And an audience, the simplicity of it is, I'm looking at them looking at me. Mm-hmm. And the more you get in front of an audience, the more practice you get, the more often, it's like a writer.
Right.
What makes a writer really good? He keeps writing.
Yeah.
She keeps writing. The more writing, the more speaking, the more opportunities to speak. So I tell people, get in front of as many people as you possibly can for whatever reason, as often as you possibly can. You know, give a presentation at church, give a presentation at home, give a presentation to a club, a Rotary Club, whatever it might be. You start off small, but open up that space. See everything in that room. Look at everybody. Look at the details of fine lines and colors and shapes and sizes. Because you cannot communicate unless you can perceive. And many people try to resist and push things away. Right now we have a distance between you and I, and we're creating a space between you and I, which makes for a very comfortable conversation.
Right.
And that's the secret to handling stage fright.
Dr. Ron, how did you develop as a speaker?
Well, number one is I believe that doing anything, you said it right in the beginning, it's a skill set that you can develop. It's like a muscle that can be exercised. And one of the things I always recommend, I spend about at least 2 hours a day, and I've been doing that for 33 years, on constantly filling my mind with new information to grow. If you see this book right here, get this book, read the book, and that's a great place to get started because now you have some information to build upon, and you're not just getting out there just guessing at what you're doing. Now you have some framework to start with, and you'll make your mistakes, and that's where the practice comes in. So my recommendation is get somewhere where it doesn't matter at first. So go somewhere and speak where it's not about making money or your job, but get in front of other people and speak for something that can help them, and that way you can cut your teeth, make the mistakes, and then when you get ready to get into the big leagues, you've got your practice.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And again, this book, No Fear Speaking, where's it available? Is it
NoFearSpeaking.com.
on the website? Is it in storefronts, Amazon, any other place?
Yeah, storefronts. It's on Amazon. Okay. It's an audio book file.
You got it in 8 languges, too.
8 languages now, yeah.
It's a number one bestseller. So take advantage of this book. Excellent information on public speaking. Got to take a break here. Currently talking again to the author of the book, Joe Yazbeck, and also founder of Prestige Leadership Advisors. Learn more at NoFearSpeaking.com. You're listening to That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit BillMeyerHam.com. That's BillMeyerHam.com. Have a conversation. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you. How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Crash in Clearwater on southbound US 19 just south of Gulf to Bay, and some slow traffic in that area. In fact, slow traffic from before Sunset Point Road, northbound 275, still a bit slow off the Howard Franklin Bridge up through West Shore. Had a crash in downtown Tampa. It's off to the left-hand side near Ashley, southbound 275, slow from before Fowler Avenue to around Sly. See traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uterick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcoming. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
Today, mostly sunny, 40% chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, high 92. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 78. Tomorrow, a 30% rain chance with a high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. In studio with Dr. Ron Eccles, co-hosted alongside me today, and also Joe Yazbeck, founder of Prestige Leadership Advisors, and also author of the book No Fear Speaking. And you can pick up a copy of this over at the website nofearspeaking.com.
Well, one of the things we were talking about before was how do you get good at speaking? So you have this tool that you can leverage and increase your bottom line significantly. We talked about getting a book and reading it, but I have been a massive advocate of jumping in and getting a training. And especially if you really want to really grow your business, then get a professional to train you on how to speak in public, because you'll save yourself years and you will increase your income dramatically without losing your reputation. So,
yes.
Joe, I recommend people go to people like you.
Well, thank you. And I'm a coach. I don't consider I teach a subject. I coach people. And there's a difference. And I'm a proponent of athletics and the performing arts from my history. And so there's skill. And the way you develop skill is to drill. It's practice. It's repetition. And so I say, we're going to drill until it becomes second nature and you become natural at this. And that is how you raise someone's level of skill. So when I work with clients of many different industries, from technology, law, education, finance, healthcare, it doesn't matter, public servants, I've worked with political candidates over my years. These people are driven, willing people. As long as you have that willingness there, then you can skill build with them to a point where they get all of the isolated drills down, and then once they become proficient at that, it becomes a natural second nature application in life.
So how do you teach public speaking to people one-on-one when there's no audience, or is there an audience? How do you combine the two then?
There is one-on-one coaching to prepare and organize. There's a framework. You mentioned that earlier. There's a design of a presentation. You can build speaker magnetism, and you can also help them to understand how to inspire and motivate an audience.
But isn't there
and
still
then you
that...
put them in front of an audience. And there's always opportunities for business owners, for example, to give presentations. And so I will show up. Sometimes I'll show up. They'll do videos, and I'll get to be able to critique them and refine it and improve until we have something that is definitely a desirable and acceptable presentation that does motivate an audience to a call to action. And it's really what you want to do is you want to motivate, inspire, and influence an audience to take action of some kind.
And I always tell people, when you get in front of a crowd, don't get so nervous about it. If you forget something, to say something, the only one's going to know that is you. Don't get hung up on, man, I forgot to say that.
You keep going.
Yeah.
It's a standard rule of entertainment. You make a mistake, just keep going.
But I have so many people that get hung up on that one thing. Man, I forgot to talk about it. You know what? Nobody knows that except you. So it does. You got through the speaking, so don't get hung up on that.
That's something I've recently noticed. Like if someone mispronounces a word, they just say the word over again automatically without acknowledging that they did anything at all.
Yeah, you just got to roll.
We've been doing it wrong, especially me and Ron. Like the other day when you co-hosted the show, Ron, we just totally called our own mistakes out on air.
I make a mistake every single show on this program, and pretty much every single segment I mess something up. You just got to get over it.
Yeah, if you're trying not to make a mistake, you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Make a mistake, make it organic. People make mistakes. People accept those conversations.
Now, Josh has our celebrity lookalikes over there, and you were paying attention to that last segment there. We got to show who Joe and Dr. Ron look like. They kind of look like one another in a sense. So they could be doppelgangers of themselves, but nonetheless, who do we have up there?
We'll do Doc first.
All right.
The last time he was on the show, I said John C. McGinley. Well, I found a better picture of John C., and I think it's way more accurate.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
That's
perfect.
Who is that? Right there.
That's it.
Who is that guy?
He's one of the doctors from Scrubs.
Doctors from Scrubs,
There's a lot of other funny movies.
All right.
Boiler Room.
And then for our guest here, hold on a second. Let me get his. There he is. And
I was going to say Telly Savalas. Is that who you got?
Mr. Bean.
I might look like that as I get up in the morning.
I was.
You're being very complimentary, Josh.
It was a joke. I was actually going. I was going for Paul Schaefer from the Letterman show.
All right.
I had John Turturro without hair.
Just another reason why you got to watch the live stream. If you're listening to us on the radio, there you kind of miss the images there that we throw up. But just a little.
I gotta find one for myself.
A little comic relief. I'll think about that for you over the weekend. So, real quick, got about a minute left. Joe, one final pitch for your book, where they can get it, what they can get from it.
No Fear Speaking can be purchased at nofearspeaking.com in hardcover, paperback, audio, book file. There's also a online video training course available on the entire system based on the book. You can also go to Amazon, iTunes, Audible, any of those. And there are some stores in the area that carry them as well.
All right. And you can also reach out to him for help with your own public speaking, as he is a coach on that as well. Joe Yazbeck, thank you so much for being in studio today.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Doctor.
And you can learn more about him again, nofearspeaking.com, or send him an email for more information, info@prestigeleader.com. Coming back from the break, we'll be talking to Ed Ellsasser, president of Prime Group Insurance, on That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Hi, I'm Kelly Ham from Billmeyer Ham Consulting. Did you know that one of the biggest challenges that leaders face is getting their employees to be engaged, motivated, and producing amazing business results? At Bill Meyer Consulting, we'll help you transform your workforce culture from one that might be underperforming, maybe mediocre, to achieving amazing business results. You see, we realize that your workforce culture is equally as important as your business plan and your business strategy. The two must be aligned in order for you to reach your desired business and financial goals.
Hey, Carol.
Hey, Jim.
I just got this plan that could really help with our process here.
Okay, why don't you just have a seat and let's go over it.
Let us help you transform your workforce culture by leveraging your most important assets, your people. I want to know what's going on in your organization. Let us help you transform your workforce culture. Let's have a conversation.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
See traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson, Uterick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Stand Up to Cancer.
I'm Tony Goldwyn. 20 years ago, when my mom had lung cancer, she didn't have many choices. But today, you do. If you've been diagnosed with lung cancer, please visit standuptocancer.org/lungcancer to learn more.
1250 winds, weather center forecast. Today's high in the lower 90s. A mix of sun and clouds, rain chance lower to 30%. Bit of a change in the weather pattern. We'll see the storms and showers develop along the coast this afternoon, and those will push inland versus what we've seen the past couple of days. Upper 70s for the low. Forecasts through the weekend remaining the same. Impact Radio 1250 winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome to That Business Show, where business becomes show business. This is Dr. Ron Eccles. Good morning. And I'm taking over for Jamie Maloney. He had to step out and do a couple things. So we have a great guest this morning, and we want to jump right into the topic. Please welcome today Mr. Ellsasser.
Thanks, Ron.
Well, listen, we were talking before the break, and we were talking about insurance. And one of the things I shared with you is that insurance is so critically important to our lives. Now, nobody likes paying for insurance, right? But when you don't have insurance and something happens, and I'm going to go right to something that's right in our headlines today, the Louisiana flood. And we had a lot of people hearing reports about people who have lost so much, and we're hearing about they don't have any insurance. So let's just start with there. Why is insurance so important, and why is having the right insurance person critical to making sure you're covered correctly?
Well, you hit it on the head that insurance is very important. We've had flooding right here in Florida, Central Florida, even where you wouldn't think that there would be flood issues. So.
Wait a minute, rain in Florida?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Are you kidding?
Get out of town. No.
Set your watch by it. So, obviously flood insurance, a lot of people, particularly like in Central Florida, they don't think about getting that coverage. And there's a real risk there with, obviously, like you said, with the rains and the potential for hurricanes and flooding that comes along with that. So, obviously we're all concerned about those folks in Louisiana. What's a terrible tragedy, but a lot of good people are kicking in and helping out with all that.
Yeah, I just posted on Facebook. I put a post on there. Said, it's one nation, one people, one solution. We can all help out because a lot of people they're going to need a lot of help, and a lot of people don't have coverage. So I just put a plea out there for people to just give whatever they can because no amount of donation is too small.
I like to say unity as one, stand together.
Yeah, I know. I hear people in our country constantly complaining about all the help our country's giving to other countries. Well, this is time for people to step up and say, let's help our own community right now. And let's do that. All right.
There's their opportunity for sure.
Beautiful. Okay, so Ed, here's a big question that I have. I learned when I was in chiropractic school that the big print giveth, the little print taketh away. Now, again, for years, one of the things that I've absolutely believed in, you don't know what's in your policy until you need that. And that's why my relationship's always with my insurance provider. The person I actually purchased the policy through was the most important part. And so we want to talk about why that is so critical to the people listening to this right now.
That's another great statement. You want to be sure you've got somebody that you're comfortable with, that is going to be able to explain the coverages that you have, not just throw a policy on your desk or email you a copy of it. You want to really understand what's in there and what types of things you're covered for. So it's got to be someone that's knowledgeable, that you can trust, and that's what we try to go above and beyond with the personalized service that we provide to our clients.
Ed, where are you guys located?
So we've got an office right here in Tampa and West Shore, and then we also have an office in Orlando and West Palm.
Okay, and so since we're a business show, we got business people out there. What types of insurance should our business people be looking for?
Well, right now, for the business community out there, one thing they should be on the lookout for is coming up October 1st, the workers' comp rates are scheduled. The NCCI, the National Commission on Compensation Insurance, has filed for a 19% rate increase. And
okay,
so,
now why is that? Because that's a really big jump.
That is a big jump, and the main reason for the Florida Supreme Court overturned a few cases recently, and it's going to open up for claims that have happened in the past to be reopened and attorneys to get involved, and those claim costs, some of the things I've been reading, could rise by as much as $1 billion. So a lot of the carriers knew the workers' compensation insurance carriers knew these rulings were coming down, so they worked hard to close out a lot of cases. But there are many cases that are still open and that could be reopened, and so it's going to be a significant increase. They haven't finalized it yet. Initially, they wanted to have a 15% rate increase August 1st. They've pushed it back to October 1st and bumped it to 19%. And that still hasn't been finalized. They're still trying to kind of shake down what the exposure is for these claims to be opened back up. But there is going to be an increase, and that increase, along with we're also seeing auto rates go up quite a bit. And the main reasons for that are gas is really low right now, so there's a lot more cars on the road. And two, we continue to have issues with fraud in Florida on the auto side. So almost every carrier that we're dealing with on the auto side are experiencing loss ratios of over 100%. Nationwide, for example, last year their loss ratio was 130%. So for every dollar they took in, they spent $1.30. So obviously you can't.
That's not a good business model. No. In case you're not following that, it's not a good business model.
Even my small brain can acknowledge that.
All right, stay with us. I'll talk slow for you.
Yeah,
right?
well, I was gonna say you're moving a little too quick for me.
Yeah, all right, I'll back it down a few degrees. So
fifth grade education over here.
So business owners are going to feel some pressure with on one side, workers' comp's going to go up. We're not sure of the final number yet. Auto rates are going to go up. We're not sure of the number yet. Health insurance rates are going to go up. We're not. We're seeing on the health insurance, most of our renewals are coming in at single digits. But some clients that are that have had major claim issues are getting 10, 15, 20% rate increases. So there still continues to be issues with Obamacare. And the exchanges, you may have read, just in this past week that Aetna's pulling out of 11 of the 15 state exchanges that they're in. So the carriers are losing money in these exchanges. So health insurance rates are going to continue to feel pressure. The one bright spot is property insurance, and we haven't had any, knock on wood, we haven't had any wind in Florida for quite a few years now. And so property rates are very competitive, not only on commercial insurance, but also on personal lines, homeowners insurance as well.
Okay, so of all the major insurance premiums we pay for, property insurance is the one that probably is not going to go up, but all the others are.
I'd say that's a
good
statement.
So again, all the business people out there listening, I do a lot of business coaching, and one of the things that many entrepreneurs are very negligent in is passing on the costs in their businesses by raising their fees or raising what they do, because the bottom line is that it's going to hit you and it's going to affect your margin, just like the insurance companies are getting hit with all these exposures and all these expenses, and all they're doing is raising their premiums to make themselves profitable. Now, for you out there, you listening, it's very important for you to do the very same thing. Make sure you're raising your fees appropriately just to keep your margins right where you want them. Your margin is how much money you want to take home.
You hit it right on the head. We're out right now talking to particularly our contractors that are going to be most affected by the workers' comp increase because they have higher rates. We want to pick this back up after the break.
No, we're nowhere near to the break. We got
sorry.
about 5 minutes. I was going to say, like, workers' comp is already crazy expensive, and you're saying that it's rising. So, I mean, what's being done to kind of like, I mean, is anyone stepping in to help this out? I mean, it seems like the last few years it's just been growing and growing, and the problem's getting worse. And a lot of people aren't carrying it, and people are getting hurt, and they're not being taken care of. And I think that's more of a problem than anything else going on in business.
You make some great points there. In 2003, the state stepped in, and at that point we had the highest rates in the country. For example, a roofer was paying $50 for every $100 of payroll and insurance on the roofers.
That's crazy.
And the state stepped in. They limited some attorney involvement, and from 2003 to 2010, the rates dropped over 50%. There's been slight increases since then because of the medical costs continue to rise. But this opening up the can of worms and going back and then open up old past claims and things like that is what's putting the pressure on this. So I'm hoping that the legislature will step in again and work to close some of these loopholes. But in the near future, we're going to see some increases in workers' comp, and so as you mentioned, Ron, we're getting out to our contractors because you do need to build that in if you're going to see an increase in your workers' comp insurance. Then you need to build that into the bids that you're putting out there because your costs are going up, so you need to to charge more to cover your expenses and to make some money. That's what we're in business for, right?
Right. But I'm going to step in on the other side because I want to make sure everybody's represented in this room here. And when it comes to workers' compensation, because I practiced as a doctor for a lot of years, and I would have clients that would be sent to me or come into me who were injured on a job. So I think we're all in agreement that we need to protect our workers. We need to make sure if a person gets injured, we can protect them and give them the right kind of health care they need or the right kind of income to offset what they've lost when's needed. The problem is, and I'm going to guess, Ed, that fraud is probably a real big challenge here because the fraudulent claims, I think, is where we have a problem. And again, it depends on who you talk to as to what they think about the amount of fraud and what is fraud inside of the system.
That's the point I was gonna make. Along with, I mean, can't business owners do more to increase safety on their job sites?
Absolutely.
I mean, you're letting guys get away with a lot of different, especially in the trades. A lot of people are doing things that they know they shouldn't be doing, but like it's like the male mentality to be like, I smashed my hammer, I'm not going to I smashed my hand with a hammer, I'm not going to the doctor and things like that. So they're less likely to use safety equipment and things like that on the job. I mean, we have OSHA that kind of like regulates that, but can business owners get out there and regulate their own job sites a little better, and will that help?
They definitely need to do that. I mean, we recommend that, and that's part of the services that we provide is to help with the loss control. You can help with your rates if you have low claims. Everybody starts out at what they call a 1.0 experience modifier. So if you have, let's say you have you paid $10,000 in premium and you have $10,000 in claims, your modifier is going to stay around the 1.0 or go up. And if you have a good loss history, then I've got clients that have like a 0.70 experience modifier, so they get 30% off the state rates, and that can be significant when as you mentioned, the trades. They're paying $50,000. Some of my clients are paying over $100,000 in workers' comp premium, so that can save them $20,000, $30,000. The other piece is we try to plug in dividend programs. So it's a incentive for carriers to, just as you were saying, to promote a safe work site where they can get money back on the back end if they have a good year. So we try to plug in those programs. I've got clients, I'll go out to their company cookouts and we'll give rewards for, hey, we haven't had a claim in 3 months, or this crew is doing a great job with safety. We went out and checked them, and they had all their gloves on and their safety goggles and the right equipment.
Have a dolly on the job site. That's how I got hurt, man. I mean, I'm a victim of the bad management, I guess. Like, I'm out on the job site, I don't have the tools I need to get the job done. I'm working piecework, so I only get paid by how fast I get that job completed, and then I end up getting hurt, which is partly my fault. But at the same time, if there was more emphasis put on safety and providing these guys with what they need to get the job done, I think that would take things down. Ron?
All right, you've been listening to That Business Show. We're going to take a break here, and when we come back, I wanted to actually jump in because we've spent a lot of time on workers' compensation. Let's talk about some of the other types of insurance business owners need to have, where the pitfalls are and what they should be looking out for. This is Dr. Ron Eccles. You've been listening to That Business Show. Be right back.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Tasseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktasseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. Rick Tasseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project. In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit BillMeyerHam.com. That's BillMeyerHam.com. Have a conversation. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
serious crash in Tampa involving a motorcyclist on Hillsborough Avenue just west of 56th Street. Avoid this area. A couple lanes blocked in both directions. Also still seeing those delays on westbound I-4 approaching 275 and southbound 275 from Fowler Avenue to around Sly. Also a minor crash on Hillsborough Avenue near Hoover being cleared. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson, New York Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
A 40% rain chance, high 92. Partly cloudy tonight, low 78. Tomorrow, a 30% rain chance, high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
All right, welcome back to That Show Business, where business is that business show where show business is. All right, we're back.
That's easy for you to say, Ron.
I know.
Yeah.
We got such a great conversation here, and I said, all of a sudden we're back.
I've got an idea. I think Jamie's had quite a few people like guest host the show. I think I'm gonna sit around and like put together a blooper reel for Facebook.
Well, that's gonna make
everybody messing up the the tagline.
Well, I thought I would never mess that one up, but it says this is That Business Show, where business is show business.
We had
my radio.
one guy.
That was smooth.
We
That
had
was
one
smooth.
guy. One guy hosted the show, right? And he goes to go into the show, and you know how like on the stream you have the show card up and it says the slogan up there. Well, I dropped it to put him on camera, and he right on air he looks at me and he goes, "Dude, you took away my cheat sheet."
All right, so if you just tuned in with us, we've been listening to Ed Ellsasser. Ed has his own insurance company called Prime Group. Now, I should be reading that with my glasses on, right? But Prime Group. Ed, we were talking about insurance here, and one of the things I want to just encourage every person out there who owns your own business, that you need to have the right kind of coverage, but I think even more important, you need to have the right insurance agent covering you. Simply because it's not just what they tell you you're covered for, but it's what you're not covered for that's really important. So let's talk about that for a minute, because we had to mention, like, you know, if you're in an area where flood is a threat, and you say, okay, here's flood insurance, and a person turns it down. I mean, what's human nature? Human nature is later on to have a flood, to have a loss, and they go, oh, you never told me about it.
Right. Yeah, you know, each business is unique in their exposures, and that's why it's really important to sit down and for us to sit down with the business owner and really get a good understanding of what all they're doing and the types of clients they're dealing with and so forth. You know, most recently we've all been reading about the massive amounts of data breach that are going on, the
cyber hacks.
You know, what the Democratic National Committee just got hacked recently. You know, Home Depot had a huge hack a few years ago.
Sony.
It's been, you know, company after company that are where these data breaches are going on, and it's coming down market. I had a Dunkin' Donuts franchise that was a client of ours. They had, you know, 20 Dunkin' Donuts, and someone had sent an email to their CFO, and it came from the owner, but it really wasn't the owner, saying, "Hey, wire $100,000 to this bank," and they did it. You know, the CFO did it because it looked legitimate. So there's a lot of scams out there, and so you need to be sure you have proper coverage.
Now, listen, I got a call last night, speaking of that, an automated message telling me it was from the IRS and that I was being sued by the IRS, and I need to call this phone number right away. So I started to call the phone number, and then I hung up very quickly. I go, wait a minute now, IRS never contacts you via phone. No. I think they only do it through mail. So I contacted my CPA right away, and he says, absolutely do not contact those people. It's a total scam. Yeah. There's some people out there are really trying to take advantage of hardworking people, like the people listening to the show right now, and we need to be protected. We need to have good insurance. And I wasn't even aware they had cyber-type insurance to protect you.
Like I said, it's coming down market. You know, the big companies, the Home Depots of the world, always have had that coverage. But now, you know, any business is vulnerable now, because we're all doing so much business now over our computers and, you know, working through the internet. So So we're selling it to, we're offering it to pretty much every business now. It's not expensive coverage, and it gives you protection for, for cyber type crimes. Particularly any business that's dealing with credit cards, they need to have some cyber coverage.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's just give a list of the common types of insurance that the average business owner should be thinking about or having to protect themselves. Again, depending upon what they do, right?
Yeah, most every business is going to have some kind of property. So, either they own a building or they're leasing a building and they've got some equipment or inventory in there they need to cover. They're going to need general liability coverage to, if someone, a third party, gets injured while they're on their site or using their product. They're going to need workers' comp. We already talked about that. Those are kind of the big three. Auto, if they own any vehicles, if they have employees on the road. Commercial auto insurance, and then some of the newer coverages, like you mentioned, cyber insurance, EPLI insurance, employee practices liability insurance has really grown a lot. That's going to cover you for sexual harassment, wrongful hiring, wrongful termination, those types of items that unfortunately we're a very litigious society.
Yes, we are.
And we have, as business owners, we get disgruntled employees, and sometimes they're looking to make a few dollars on their way out the door. So, so you need some coverage for that, and that coverage isn't expensive either. For $1,500 for a 20 employee business, you can get that coverage, and it comes with some additional items, like you get access to an 800 number to talk to an employment attorney. To know to kind of talk through if you need to terminate an employee, how should I handle it, and how should I dot my I's and cross my T's to avoid a lawsuit on the back end.
Ed's probably the only guy in the room that's happy to have idiots around.
Okay, now listen, we're at the 1 minute warning sign right now. So one of the things I want to do is I want you to be able to give our audiences your contact information, because their relationship with their insurance agent is critical to protecting themselves. Nobody likes paying insurance, but everybody loves when it's there when you need it. So Ed, go ahead and give everybody your contact information.
Yeah, you can hit our website at primegroupins.com, primegroupins.com. And that's probably the best way to get in contact with us. You can see there that we're a full lines agency. We cover all lines of insurance. We're committed to our clients. We're committed to the community. We really look to give back in the communities that we serve. A lot of our employees are on different boards, including myself, of different charities. So we're out in the community, and we're looking to help business owners out. So.
All right, you've been listening to Ed Ellsasser, and we just want to thank him for being here, telling us more about insurance. The
preceding was a commercial program paid for by Maloney Productions.